I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Webb. I am an investigative journalist, and in 1996 I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking.
I knew a man who once said death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
We've opened Skull and Bones, the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on. I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the red
number 322.
I sad duty to report this afternoon that my friend and colleague Tim Russert collapsed and died early this afternoon.
I may die in this cell tonight or in the arena tomorrow. I am a slave. What possible difference can I make?
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Welcome back, Arty Deadheads, your favorite live, weekly, call-in conspiracy, parapolitical show, whichever word you so choose. It is another week. We are absent Austin this week. We have Jacob joining the second seat, as we do when one of us is out. So thank you for filling in the gap, Jacob. You are one of our schizo bros all the same, although you are typically behind the scenes, making things run smoothly. So we still will have the phone lines running today. It's going to take a little bit. I mean, that will logistically, that just means Jacob will have to pull a little bit. We may have to finagle with it a little bit, maybe a little bit rough, somewhat there, but we'll make it work. So if you do want to call in later, once we get those lines up, we will let you know when they are up. If you do want to get the number ready in your phone, it's 1-833-722-3323. And for the patrons in the second half of the show, get an opportunity to come up, and we'll definitely be hanging out with them more today with Austin out. Going to be a little bit more audience engagement sort. No shame to Austin. We love Austin, but we'll definitely a little more low key, a little more audience engagement. But who knows? We'll riff. We'll go nuts. We'll go into some Austin autism a little bit. We'll dig into some weird rabbit holes, perhaps. But yeah, wild week, crazy weekend. Jacob, did you watch the fights this week? Did you catch any of that? No,
I did not. No, I'm actually usually all over the fights, but I don't know. There was something about this one. It just didn't interest me.
Yeah.
I did tell a friend of mine, though, that I thought there was most likely going to be some sort of false flag or something. And then, literally just a couple hours ago, he sent me a message about a group of 5 men had been arrested for plotting to attack the fights. So I was like, oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, actually, I covered that this morning, which there's more, so I guess we'll probably cover it here in a second, maybe take another look in there, see what's going on. But yeah, wild weekend. I have the same mind there, particularly with like the fights going on this weekend, and there was other stuff too, not just the fights that made things wild. But I was in the same boat as you, kind of just didn't really care. The card didn't really even appeal to me all that much. Although I ended up just happened to watch it because for some reason my wife really insisted on watching this one, so I just happened to be on the couch, caught some of it. It was actually pretty good production, pretty good put on. It obviously was propaganda, but for what it was, it was pretty enjoyable. Quite the show. You're like, okay, this is well done propaganda. Some really great fights, and I like you. I think I don't know if I may have even said this on Already Dead. I've definitely said this on at least a couple shows where I've kind of just been like, this UFC thing felt like something was going to happen. So I think part of me, it caught my interest a little bit more, although I did end up still doing the old dad thing where I kind of nodded off for a few of the fights. But either way, I still was a little bit more compelled. That's compelled me at at like over past 11 o'clock at night. Nodding in and out. That's interested me. If I wasn't interested, I'd be entirely asleep. But yeah, I like you thought something of great importance or significance was going to happen. It just kind of something about it. I mean, not that there was anything I could put my finger on. It just kind of felt like it was in the air, like all the things were lining up. This just seemed like, kind of a penultimate moment where something happens. And we end up getting this drone plot, which it's funny on one hand. It's kind of like, it's actually a pretty feasible thing, like the drone thing. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. I was talking about this morning, this idea of this like drone plot going after these people. That's actually, we're entering this age where that's actually not that crazy of a concept. Like, it's funny, like we've weirdly kind of come full circle where like, usually it's like you see a lone wolf, you like roll your eyes and like, but we're actually entering a time where like, that's kind of feasible. We're kind of entering now I will say I've dug a little bit of this and it kind of, I did, it's funny. I talked about this with my story, the story this morning, and that's kind of how I presented it in that way. And then as I'm reading through the story, I was like, no, this glows. Like, so like, but even then, it still does. Even if it does glow, I do feel like it's kind of an interesting idea. Not that I'm in any way supporting political violence, but in a weird like sort of spirit of the Second Amendment, there's something interesting there.
Right.
And that it's like, well, then like, as I said this morning, it's kind of like, well, then like, I'd recommend, with that paradigm in mind, I'd recommend you probably stop fucking killing kids, or at the very least stop fucking them. Like that would be, like that would probably do a lot for
I
that.
Didn't think it was that hard. If those are your two choices, it's really low bar here.
Yeah, not asking for a lot, but yeah. I mean, like, I'm not calling for political violence. I'm just stating the current reality of technology in the situation in which you are in. Ironically, though we don't really have a Second Amendment and the government has taken away our guns in a certain weird way of like, the producers versus the predators, the producers have outpaced them to where we have gotten to the point to where, yes, we don't really have a Second Amendment, but in a certain way we kind of do, because all you really need is like a drone for like under $100 and like some sort of hastily made homemade explosion, and you just completely dominated tens of, you just essentially became the equivalent of hundreds of thousands of U.S. military funds, whether that be training, weaponry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So like this is where we have at. So like it's not even that our armament matches them, it outmatches them to a ridiculous degree. While also being much cheaper. It's like, I guess, in a guerrilla warfare. So I find that interesting, but at the same time, I do think this probably glows. But something interesting there, yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because when an entire country continually invests in something, it's bound to be cheaper eventually. I mean, that's why we have cell phones. That's why we have a lot of the things that we do, because we put the money towards it and we're able to make it cheaper. So it's only, it stands to reason that eventually the weapons of war are going to be accessible to your average everyday person, and they are. So, which I don't necessarily disagree with. If the government has it, we should be able to have it as well. So, I mean, legalize nukes,
Hell yeah, let's get some McNukes up in here. Now let's take as you said, there was the UFC plot. I actually that's the wrong fucking. Give me 1 second. I'm bringing it. Here's a piece from the New York Post. I covered a piece this morning, kind of giving cursory details. I think it was still pretty breaking this morning. So here's some information over at New York Post. I have that brought up. Yeah, I do. Okay. So just kind of some of the people here, apparently they're saying the person operated under an alias Whiskey 6 America, shared tactical violence with fellow plotters. They mapped down assault in the June 14th Blockbuster event. I remember from my coverage this morning, they were apparently, as I just said, I started it out like my show, like kind of even referring to an example, this video I watched of these like, operator military types, like YouTuber gun guys. and they're doing this thing where they're trying to essentially combat a drone. I think it's like a less than $100 drone, and they go, obviously they don't have an explosive on it, but their point is like, this thing could have an explosive on it, and we're just going to try to run drills of like how we could stop this thing with various different weaponry, and even had like specialized ammo for it and stuff like that. And even still, like, obviously the specialized ammo did better, but generally speaking, it was like well over 9 times out of 10 they were fucking dead, like in the imaginary scenario.
That's why the body count in Ukraine has been so devastating on both sides. I mean, just regular people have access to these things, and then once again, you throw in access to a 3D printer, which is dirt cheap these days. That's it. One of the best things that I've seen people have been able to do to basically trick the drones is those thermal emergency blankets, because nothing can pick you up. So pick up a couple of those. Might come in handy.
That makes sense. But yeah, I covered that initially, or kind of presented it this morning in that way of like, because initially you see the title, it's like a drone plot, and you're like, well, okay, that seems semi-plausible in today's world. But apparently you start to dig into it, and apparently the plot then expands to apparently there's like something like 23 odd people in some Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever, some sort of chat group. It's also, the plan wasn't even just a simple like, a couple boom drone things. The idea was to use the drones to drive the crowds, to funnel them into a certain area where there would be snipers waiting. And so then it becomes this like kind of fantastical sort of plot that I just really don't think especially these people that we're about to go through. I think there's a couple like kids essentially. I don't think these are the people pulling off such a feat as this. So it kind of starts to make you wonder, how serious really is this? This is one of the guys. This is Michael Allen Thomas, Pinon Hills, saying he's one of the planners. Here's another one, Brian Omaroa.
Why does it look like every single time we see a picture of these people that get away with this stuff or say that they did, it just always looks like they can't, like they would be incapable of doing this. I don't know if I'm buying it.
Yeah, I mean, this guy could, I don't know, you can't really tell too much, a little bit of a baby face, but who knows? He could have been prior military, he knows I have no idea who this guy is. But I mean, these are the people. There's also 19-year-old Tyson Proper. There's also, he said that the Thomas guy played a leading role. This is a signal chat. It was an encrypted signal chat. Investigators say Hunt, Thomas, and other alleged conspirators communicated in a encrypted signal chat called Hunters. They exchanged detailed plans for carrying out the attack and escaping afterward. So all those guys, these are in these groups. Here's some pictures, them firing in the desert. This shit glows big time. Like, this feels like legit. This is the sort of stuff they do. They'll like come and bring them out for shooting events, and which, to be fair, it's the same shit the militias do. But let me see. They allege the group shared aerial photographs and maps of DC, discussed sniper positions, locations from which drones could be launched. Apparently, Proper's family, the main guy, his family contacted the authorities, said worried about his recent behavior, firearms purchases, and interactions. So his family tipped him off, and then the investigators found encrypted chats. I'm trying to see if there's anything else significant in here. Just going more into these guys' people's names or their aliases online. So a lot of online stuff, which is all the hallmarks of a Fed op of some sort. Although this could just you're a complete retard. Try to see anything else in here. No, just a specific weaponry and stuff. I guess there was an Instagram story with one of these guys doing firearms tactical training. Whatever, people do that. Here's another picture of one of the guys, Roa. Showing somebody with the little tactical goggles and stuff on. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, here's just more pictures of guns. Right. So yeah, I don't know what more we're getting out of this. I'm scrolling through here, seeing if there's anything sticks out real quickly. Maybe I'll dig more into this. I don't know. I'm not really seeing anything else other than names. It's still a lot of trust me, bro, to this. Still waiting for more details to come out, it seems. So definitely no smoking guns, or not even really much smoke to be seen, although it does seem to match patterns of these sorts of ops. So I guess we got some names, a little bit more information, but still kind of sparse
just seems
stuff there.
Like this is just happening so close together now. I mean, I really try not to be like everything is a psyop, or everything is a plant or whatever. Also, I mean, people are pushed to their limits these days, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did get pushed over the edge. But it just seems weird to me, just event after event after event. Just like when Trump stayed home from his son's wedding. Just so happened to be at the time when, after Congress denied him his money for the whole ballroom. And there was another attack on the White House. Like, what are the odds that he was just there? I don't know. It seems too coincidental.
Yeah, I made a joke recently on the show where I was kind of, riffing off the idea of how funny it is, or maybe even kind of speculating on there being a possibility of the case being that for each one of these subsequent, so-called assassination plots or attempts or whatever, that like each one, it's almost like it gets closer and closer together. It becomes this almost like this cycle, that's spiraling ever so, tighter and tighter together. Right. God, what the fuck was I just talking about? I totally zoned out. Oh, I remember. I just totally lost the thread for a second. But assassination plots. So we started out with like the Crooks thing, a lot of weird questions there, and then we got the Routh thing, a lot of weird questions there, and it just felt like the window between each one just kind of did shorten up every time. So it feels like the idea was like it's this weird like distraction from the previous one is what it almost feels like. So like. But then that kind of starts this whole other new investigation of the newest thing where, internet sleuths, people like that start looking into it. But then so it's like, you got to do the next one. So it's just this vicious like circle that just keeps going over and over again until we're doing a fucking assassination plot like every other day or something. It almost seems like they're trying to go so damn fast that we can't keep up with anything.
Right.
Although, once again, to give some air to the idea that this could be organic, this could be some somewhat legitimate 1776 sort of spirit, and I'm actually not even advocating that, to be very clear. His favorability ratings are absolutely dog shit. He's kind of fucked up just about everything you possibly could. I mean, we are in a weird situation though, where maybe we're getting some sort of deal with Iran. Maybe we could end up with some sort of paradigm shift if we leave Israel in the dust, although that is a very big fucking if.
If they decide to let us go.
yeah. I was there. I was just seeing a clip. I'll probably play it on the show tomorrow. But it was I forget what Ben Menashe. I always forget how his name said. He's like the former Mossad guy. He goes on a lot of shows. And he was saying, I mean, I didn't really refer to, he's obviously some intel guy, so he's a spook, so he obviously doesn't give any source or anything why he's thinking this. Could totally be misinformation, disinformation. But this is a guy who's an intel agent for Israel. And with this current paradigm right now going on in the Middle East, for those who aren't aware, don't keep track of what's going on, we are in this weird deal back and forth with Iran. Currently, supposedly, the U.S. has signed a digital deal already, so they've already signed it, supposedly.
Wow.
Now they're going to, I guess, for further details, meet up on Friday. Now, a big part of the problem with this, though, is like one of the major parts of the deal is that it also includes a ceasefire and essentially, removing themselves or no longer occupying Lebanon, Israel. And it's not looking like that's going to happen anytime soon. Forgot why was I even bringing that up? But anyways, I was explaining something about the paradigm of where we are with Israel. Forgot what I was connecting that to. But either way, that is where we're at right now in the current. I remember it's connected to Epstein. Sorry, there's so many threads to connect together here. But yes, connecting it to Epstein.
Anytime you forget what you're talking about, to say
Epstein. No, that's what we started off. We're bringing it back to Epstein. I know I have to explain where we're at geopolitically. So currently we're in this weird thing. We're getting actually a crazy amount of those like, oh no, Netanyahu and Trump are beefing right now sort of stories. And it's not even like a Axios Barack Ravid says anymore. It's getting to where he's straight up like saying it in interviews and talking mad shit. Which, like, I'm been one of the first people to kind of throw some shade and be like, all right, well, fucking do something, or cool, you said some mean words. But he is kind of, like he said the other day, like, while it is a little bit silly, he said Israel wouldn't exist without us, which is like, that's pretty, from the position of the Israelites, that's kind of, it's a little bit of a spit in their face. I mean, obviously, it's not so much as take away their money. Right. We're still not quite there, but I gotta be real. Some of the signs, the political realities that are being created in real time really do seem to point to there is a fairly significant chance we could end up with some sort of semi-major breakaway from Israel in the meantime. But either way, whether we do or not, we're either at this weird linchpin period where things are shaky, and like as I mentioned with Trump's favorability, this is also recently he actually had crazy high favorability in Israel. He was actually bragging about in a clip about how he could have gone elected if need
99% or whatever.
Well, apparently that's caved by something like 40 to 50 points or something crazy. With this deal, because they're just bloodthirsty monsters over there. And so that is caved. So that's no longer the case. But anyways, I don't even remember why I was threading that into. But either way, so the state of Israel and the people of Israel do not seem to be much happy with Trump right now, because they are very much pushing, or whether it's real, whether it's just rhetoric, I don't fucking know. But it is being said. The impression to the public is out there at the very least. But anyways, bring it back to Epstein, Ben Menashe. I'm probably fucking up his name. Former Mossad agent. He himself just recently said that that. I think he even just said it as almost a state of fact that that Netanyahu will almost certainly be releasing some more compromise here soon, and like new stuff that people haven't seen, new officials. So, they keep trying to be like, oh, this has nothing to do with Israel, and then you have former Mossad agents being like, we're going to release more blackmail.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why somebody doesn't call their bluff and release some on their side, because there's no way they're the only ones doing this. I can't imagine anyone is more successful at it than they are. I'm pretty sure they're top dog as far as that goes, but I don't know. Like, do you really think they've cornered the market? Like, they're the only ones with it?
With what?
I don't know. Blackmail.
No. I think it's a whole complicated game. I mean, if I had to guess, the big players are probably Israel, and then honestly probably Russia. It seems like, when you get into the weeds of like Epstein stuff, they do seem to come up a lot. So it does seem to be, it seems like two major nexuses are Russia and Israel. And I would say US, but that's almost kind of redundant to saying Israel. So, like that too. But that's my impression is those two.
It's like those guys are their country is a screw worm. And they're just feeding off of the live tissue that is the United States until we are a shriveled, dead corpse, and then they leave.
Speaking of which, have you heard? Have you seen the Austin Franco story? I'm curious your thoughts on this. The Cornell anti-Semitism. Okay, you haven't followed it. What would your initial thoughts be if I don't know, you heard the story? Here's the story essentially. I guess I just want to get your take. A 24-year-old, startup CEO.
You're talking about the guy that you were posting the other day.
Yeah. He'd rather not work. He'd rather not work for a Jew. Okay.
I vaguely know, but you go ahead.
Okay. I guess more just want to pick your brain while we're on the while we're talking about God's favorite people. I figured I'd ask. I just kind of wanted, like, what are your thoughts? Is that do you think, would that be inappropriate if you as a white man had a business and you went to hire someone? And then they just casually said, I'd rather not work for a white guy. Thank you. How would you handle the situation?
I would be like, cool, dude. Thanks for your honesty.
Yeah, you wouldn't contact some of the most powerful white people, coordinate amongst each other openly about how you can destroy their life.
About it. I'd probably like hop on social media and be like, you'll never guess what happened. This is fucking awesome. Times are changing, I'm for the abolishment of the Civil Rights Act, entirely. So, I don't see an issue with any of this.
Yeah, I agree. So I guess I want to pick your brain on that. You know, that has been a big story this week. Been kind of crazy. I mean, a lot of people are questioning whether it's even real or not, and that this is this shouldn't even be a story. Is a problem? Is that this has gotten to this point, and it just feels like absolute gaslighting. Because
so what's the complaint though?
The complaint is anti-Semitism.
Special
I mean, I guess it's obviously is to some degree a prep. If you don't want to work, I guess it's depending how you're using words. I feel like when most people say anti-Semitism, you mean like literal hate. I don't think that necessarily means you hate someone. Like not wanting to work for someone doesn't necessarily mean you hate them.
I'll be flat out honest. I don't ever want to work with women, but I love women. But I just don't want to work with them. You know?
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Certain environments, I just don't want to deal with certain people. And also, like, we can have preferences because that's what it is, right? It's a particular preference. Probably through pattern recognition, this person has determined that being in that kind of a situation is not one that he feels comfortable with. And hey, I thought the whole idea behind this whole like new age and like life that we've embraced in the United States is that it is all about the comfort. So if this man's uncomfortable, he should have every right to be able to make himself feel comfortable and not work with somebody he doesn't want to work with. I mean, and also it's like, how is it that big of a deal to you? He's not going to be there anymore. So you're literally just like trying to thought police him, which go fuck yourself when it comes to that. I have zero tolerance for thought police or tone police. So yeah, people need to say something about that. I would say if this needs to be a news story, that's the part that needs to be a news is like look at this Joker trying to impose his will on everyone else, but whatever, it just doesn't work that way. So
yeah, and it's just the gaslighting is what bothers me the most about this, is because a lot of these people who are kind of performatively on the right coming out here and then being like, oh, and, people should be proud of their peoples, and this is how they should stand up for them, and anyone of any color or this or that, like this should be this. If this was a black person, this is a white person, and it's the funny thing is, I literally one of the first things I put out, on Twitter was like I asked. I mean, I didn't get a ton of legs on it, it didn't go, but I asked like, hey. People out there, I want different demographics. Like, how would you react in this situation? Right. If someone said they didn't want to work for you because of your said race or religion, how would you react? Then also, furthermore, would you then coordinate with other people of the same race or religion openly to conspire to destroy their life? And I don't think I got a single person who agreed with that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely a lot of people, and there's a concerning strain, too, of whiteys and people like that out there that are actually somewhat advocating for that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I do think that's ridiculous.
It is a psyop.
Yeah, that's ridiculous as well, but
correction.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and now, God, where was I going with that? Fuck, I totally forgot where I was going with that. It threw me off. But yeah, we were talking shit. All right, let's. I totally forgot where I was going. They threw me off. You said something and it just totally threw out my train of thought. But yeah, this week go ahead. Sorry.
It just kind of seems like, how would you feel the other direction? Because I don't enjoy the fact. I get pissed knowing that a racial quota or a sex quota is a thing at like a place of work. Like, you have to hire so many black people, you have to have so many Mexican people, like that seems racist as shit to me, honestly, because it's at that point it's not about merit, it's literally just about your skin. So, and hey, I notice things like all other pattern recognizers, it's just the skin thing, it's like way down on the list for me. I just don't think it's that important, or at least that there's so many other there's so many other criteria that I would criticize before that.
Yeah, and that's not to deny statistics or like if we were looking at populations in aggregate, like sure,
right.
But now I will say, as a point I've been driving at, one thing people have missed that with this story is pretty much every Jew involved in this story is a religious Jew. Now I know. Things get a little bit dodgy when people talk about Jews because there's ethnic Jews, there's religious Jews. But but even with ethnic Jews, this is something I've been thinking about. It's like even with ethnic Jews, because the escape here kind of the out here, because they obfuscate this like race, religion, like what is it? So it's this. But even if you do try to obfuscate and go with the like, well, they're ethnic Jews, they're not really.
Right.
It's an ethnicity born out of a religion. So even still, there's going to have far more of a proclivity to behave in such a manner, since for one, they were biologically conceived under those circumstances, so they likely, whatever behaviors may be more likely to be biologically ingrained. Also, they're going to be likely within a few generations from those sorts of teachings of a literal belief system, which is what religions are. So like, so this is my like this is basically when you're criticizing anti-Semitism or not Semitism, Judaism, like literal Jews, like religious Jews, and then most explicit, you are criticizing a group of people, a belief system. Like, yeah, there are individuals within that, and different Jews may act different than other Jews, but generally speaking, they literally have a credo. They have a book that, yeah, they may disagree on some of the tenets, but generally speaking, there's a certain pattern of belief, certain behaviors. There's nothing wrong with criticizing. At the same time, ironically, these are the same exact people. They're almost all of them that will be complaining about the scourge of Islam and the rising, Islam. And it's like, this is the literal exact same thing. Now they play this trick, as I say, where they obfuscate with the ethnic thing. And so they kind of murk it up and they're like, you're kind of like, what are we talking about here? But the beauty about this story though, is like pretty much every prominent person, the two CEOs, the Palantir guy who comes up quite a lot, all of them religious Jews, and plenty of other. So it's like, and even anyways. So I think that's something significant about that. Like this becomes this muddying of like they act like it's improper to do, and you're like, whoa. Like they just want to like not even discuss. Like, and you know what? You could be wrong. You could be wrong for being discriminating against certain belief systems. But like the idea that we're just supposed to move past it because like, oh well, we're not supposed to criticize belief systems. Right. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, no. That's actually the opposite. I am wholeheartedly behind the idea that the only way that we actually make life better is by challenging almost everything. I mean, obviously, there's a limit to that. You don't have to keep questioning if 2 + 2 is 4 at a certain point. Like you can just move on. But I mean, the just blindly accepting things or ignoring them just flat out is absurd to me, because the truth never has an issue with being questioned. It's always a lie. A lie has an issue with being questioned and being challenged because it's a lie. There's no truth to it. So therefore it will be exposed eventually if you keep pressing the matter. So kind of makes a little bit more sense when you just see how certain people behave. It's like, why don't you want me asking questions about that? It's like, whether it's good or not to ask a question is kind of irrelevant because you're already playing the hand, just like the whole, like going to jail for Holocaust denial or whatever. It's whatever, question it. I don't care. But going to prison for it, man, that doesn't make you look good. I've had some really bad ideas before, right? So I had to test those. I had to try and defend my ideas. That sort of thing can't happen if we're too scared to question certain things or if certain things are off limits. Also, how are we ever going to find the boundary of anything if we can't find it? And there's literally only one way to do that, and that's to go over the line. So it's like, I don't know. It's, in my opinion, it comes down to this wanting to control the language, which is the exact same thing as mind control. If you control everyone's thoughts, what they're able to say, how they're able to think it, I mean, that is mind control. So it's not shocking to me that there would be a particular type of people that would be more interested in that than, say, others.
Yeah, it's funny you mention mind control. One thing I've been digging into in the past week or so, there was over at the New Yorker, they dropped an expose over on the Tate brothers, which
Right.
And it's quite a lengthy one. I'm like 5 parts in. I've been doing a ongoing. Yeah, there's a lot, and I was I was up in the air about whether you want to dig into it first, because the Tates are one of those ones that, like, I've heard lots of people murmur and bitch and moan about them, and like, but I've never really seen anything all that substantive and been like, okay, like, don't get me wrong, they do seem like kind of shitty, kind of like there's a lot of stuff where like, yeah, this stuff I definitely don't like about them. Like,
very abrasive.
Yeah, very. And then obviously they were, they weren't even hiding from it, like essentially managing OnlyFans hoes and stuff. And like, so like there is this disgusting, degeneracy of sorts swirling about them. And it's, I find it perverse too, because they are like also trying to like advocate this as if this is the way men should be.
Right.
Like men should be kings and like you should be like have all these women and just be putting babies in all of them. But then as you're digging through as I was digging through this expose, you're realizing like, yeah, I guess we kind of knew this, but you really start to realize like this harem of women, these women that he's just like dropping babies in and has all these children with, he's whoring them out. And like,
he is their pimp.
Yeah, he's pimping them. He's literally running courses on like pimpology and stuff, and which, as I've said, cover this. I'm a libertarian, I'm an anarchist, whatever. I'm all for legalization of sex stuff if that's what you want to do. Whatever. I definitely I wouldn't recommend it. Probably not the greatest life. But anyways, but that's different than literal. And let's be real, with this pimp stuff, a lot of it blurs the line when you get into what it is, generally speaking, to be a pimp or whatever. Now, if we had the funny thing, if this stuff was legalized, you likely, while it still would be a gross business, it would probably be more out in the open. There'd be far less coercion occurring. But when you are looking at real pimping, this stuff that they're talking about, I mean, they may have been blurring the line of what is consensual, non-consensual.
They were pushing that pimp line.
Yeah, they're pushing that pimp line, but there were many times where they straight up overdid it. And as you're going through this, like, you see the parallels to mind control, and hell, sometimes it's not even really, you don't even need to look. They explicitly said it. They were like, they literally, they were literally talking, had hypnotists and people that were NLP people in their programs, using this, applying this language. Like, they're literally using as like classes, being like, and this is how I tricked out this. So
it's way easier to be able to control your moneymakers. It's a hell of a lot easier to just program them and then order them to make money instead of dealing with, the ups and downs of what I'll just call it straight. It's just mentally ill women, typically, to the point that I feel comfortable saying that. It is just really odd. To me, I believe that he is who he is, like that. He's not like a fabricated person. I do think that his ability, his reach is 100% fabricated. Maybe not initially, but you don't stay as relevant as you are or as he has been without being compromised. I mean, they get you eventually. You either go away, or you die, something, you don't get out clean. Ever.
Yeah, and compromise may not even be the right word for it. If anything, he's more of the compromiser. Although, ironically, the flip side of it, by being the compromiser, you are compromised. But exactly. I mean, hell, through this, I mean, there's all sorts of quotes of them bragging about essentially having control of the locals in the area. In Romania where they were at, and many of the other locations where they're at. So they were basically running. Yes, they're running OnlyFans stuff, but these are partiers or hanging out. So, I mean, these are women who are dedicated to him, and obviously I have no idea. I mean, I haven't read anything that says explicitly he was essentially, passing around his chicks for sexual favors or for compromise. But I'd be astounded if they weren't at some point, especially with the people they were circling, the sort of harem he'd surrounded himself with.
What is likely to have happened, and I think that's incredibly likely, incredibly probable as well. I mean, why not? The way he does speak about women, it just, I can't imagine somebody like that would be like, nah, it's just because all of that degeneracy is kind of all a part of each other. And when you are a degenerate like that, you kind of just float in and out of preferences. So why wouldn't he, at least at one point or another? And also he's making money from it. So, because it kind of seems like he definitely worships the almighty dollar, which is honestly just sad in my opinion. I mean, I like money.
Yeah.
But I also don't worship it,
Do you like money enough to put one of your baby mamas on camera to flicker bean while you are there messaging men, flirting with them, pretending to be her?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Because that is the sort of men that the Tates are.
Right.
So just remember, just remind yourselves, this is how they made their millions, is them flirting with men. That is actually, they made a point to like, they would be the ones manipulating the men to spend more money in the chat, pretending to be her, which, quite hilarious. But yeah, it's hard not to see the parallels there with the mind control. I mean, just straight up fucking saying it, using violence to coerce, also love, so manipulating them. So
100%. Yeah, it's really weird too. Just the way that they've pushed him publicly. They definitely have this whole like dual or the dichotomy, which is perfect in order to be able to control which narrative the population is going to go with, or at least a portion of them. It's just really interesting. So I was mentioning to you before we started the show that I've just been reading on basics, propaganda, some of my favorite stuff to read about, because I mean, once you just know the basics, and it's always good to touch on them again, so many things just make sense. But when they can use a man, or just when he's virtually just like an NPC, in my opinion, when they can use this human meat sack to be able to control the opinions of people to the point that they get upset, so they hop on their phones and they have to say something about it, and then boom, as soon as they're on their phones, they are now being controlled by the weaponized algorithms, which is just literal mind control of today. I mean, that's where the technology went, because it's a hell of a lot easier to get a phone in somebody's hand than a brain plant or a chip implant in somebody's head. Unless Elon has something to just say about it, then that might be changing. But just because he's so polarizing, and it's not for a good reason, right? Because he's so polarizing, says to me, he is definitely like an agent of chaos, meant to spark all of those feelings in people that I hate him. No, I'm going to stand behind my boy. It's tribalism, I guess. To me, it's frustrating because I don't know about you. It's so clear. It's so clear when I see these things. I don't understand how people don't. Like, I don't know. Do people really believe that it's raining outside if somebody pisses on your boots? I don't know. It's strange. But he even admitted on one of his live streams once, I saved the video. I'll see if I can find it at another time. But he admits to knowing how to brainwash people, which I thought was crazy. Like, so you learned that from somewhere.
Well, that's what he's doing with these hosts.
Right.
That is the. I mean, there were all sorts of quotes about these women being brainwashed. Like, he had a system in place where he had one of the women. God, what was the name of the group too? Like, they even had like a name. They called it, like, I think it was like a group chat or something. But they had one broad, and it was something like ominous, like unexplained disappearances or something weird like that. And like their job was to keep the bitches in line. And there were insane quotes that came from there. Of like the women like essentially talking about cutting other chicks' tits off and like actually, getting crazy violent and like having to be stopped from her. Like, just
Dude, it's a
crazy
cult.
over the top stuff. Like, yeah, like they were
Yeah, it's a
essentially
cult.
self-policing. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know why that's not how we would look at it. It's a cult. I mean, so he's the undying cult leader. He's the one doing the programming to these these poor people. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they're probably great people based on where they landed, but I still don't wish any bad on them.
Oh,
And I
the women?
definitely don't wish that.
Well,
right?
even then, even the women, as you're reading this, now I know, you know, I believe all women and stuff, so they could be lying hoes, but I mean, think about Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, like think about how they behave and think about the money they have, their access, and they're pretty good on turning on charm, seeming sweet.
Right.
Hell, even Tristan's kind of more of like the gentleman, debonair. Like,
Right.
I
Which
can
I think
totally.
is why he's not more popular.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly, but I bet you he's probably better at pulling the pimp game with the women. I bet you he's better at that, because essentially their MO was is they would find women, they would wine and dine them for sometimes days, even longer,
Right.
like wherever they were at, like, and then you know, just kind of whisk them off to their fantasy, like, I'm in love with you and we're gonna have and like you know, and I know people laugh like, haha, some dumb hoe. It's like, she thinks she's going to go over to Romania to live with this man, or to he's going to put her up in a place and for a while, and he'll teach her how to play piano, and you know, they're going to have this great romance, and she'll find a job there, and you know, but it sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it, they spent days together, you know, I'm sure he was being so sweet, so charming. They even the men even describe the transition to behaving that way until slowly being more controlling, more dominating, more so. And I mean, I get it. Yeah, women should be less trusting, less. But like, I don't know. I put myself in the perspective of a 20 to 25-year-old attractive woman, a woman, and a man, you know, what, not that much older than you, that just so happens to have money, seems to be very interested in you, spends days, so it's not even just like a flash in the pan. It's not, he doesn't try to fuck you on the first night, you know, like, so you get all of the hints that like, oh, I think he's actually interested in me, like,
and then he acts like Prince Charming. He's gonna be the guy.
Yeah, and then it's like, I can totally see how a woman could fall for that. Like, I mean, maybe you could say be naive, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you might be like, oh, what a little gold digger or something. But I don't know. I could totally see from a chick's perspective, hey, money's not an object for this man, and he loves me. And like, I mean, hell, he hasn't even tried to. We haven't even had sex. We haven't, you know, he's done all the proper, you know, like, so everything seems to check that. Like, this is not a man just using me. You know what I mean? And the men would describe, and the Tates would describe this process.
Funny thing is, Lauren Southern explained that exact thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is hilarious, because she gets caught up with them, and now she's on this whole like, woe is me book tour. But
I mean, to be fair, assuming the truth of what she claims she was raped by him, and on top of that, the sort of rape she claims is been literally the exact MO of like the other one. Like, apparently his thing is choking them. And he even has explicitly said this too, because he said that the choking thing is a further extension of the controlling. So, like, you know, even when you have the sex, it's violent, which I'm not even saying that to say that's bad. Like, you know, a lot of people like to choke a little, but we're talking like choking to the point of like literally passing out, or you know,
causing brain damage.
causing issues, causing burst blood vessels, which, I mean, it's not necessarily like too crazy. As I've said, you can get that just from like heavy lifting or stuff like, but it's, if you're getting that from choking someone, you're probably going too far. And this was a complaint from many women.
I do believe her as far as that goes. I don't think she's lying about that. It's just the whole, you know, I was tricked into the conservative movement, and the conservatives aren't actually as conservative as they are. It's like, okay, well, sure, not everyone's going to have the same experience as you. But then to just like blanket statement, like the whole conservative movement are, you know, swinging, having sex with each other, doing drugs and stuff. It's like, no, the ones you hung out with, you know. It's like, I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous that she's getting the attention for that. Now the Tate stuff, though, I do believe, because I'm not quite sure why she would lie about that. She could just easily just not say anything. So
no, according to her, like,
everything's perfect and 100% true, but a majority of it, I believe.
Yeah, I think I believe her rape story. I mean, I'd be open to it being fake. I just find it weird, the consistency, although I guess maybe once the word gets, because there's been multiple other women who've claimed this exact thing, that he raped them while choking them. So yeah. But yeah, with that, I guess we're about an hour deep. I guess let's take a little break, go to the bathroom, do all the things you gotta do. Be back in a few minutes. You were having a little issue with your post-mortem today, your intermission, so we got a Blunts for Jesus one up for you guys. We'll be back in about a little over 5 minutes, and we'll be bringing on the patrons at that point. So patrons back there, let us know if you want to jump up. Let us know what you're going to talk about. We'll be shooting the shit with them.
I've got phones ready to go, so anybody that wants to call in. So
hell yeah, we got the phone lines up, working. That's 1-833-722-DEAD, 1-833-722-3323. So give us a call, shoot the bull. We're going to be doing a lot of audience interaction today, so we'll bring them on. But we'll see you guys here in a few seconds. Enjoy this beautiful bean footage. Oops, I accidentally clicked out of it. Oops, here we go. All right.
Adelson is worth around $40 billion US. He owns the Venetian Casino in Vegas and 2 other massive casinos in Asia. The billionaire uses his fortune to influence a lot of policy. He's the GOP's biggest donor, shelling out about $100 million to elect Trump and other Republicans in 2016.
He was also a big donor to Jewish causes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised him as a huge Jewish patriot.
His generosity may be most apparent in his contributions to Jewish organizations locally and globally. One of those programs is called Birthright Israel, that has, to date, sent over 750,000 young Jewish adults from around the world on a trip to Israel to learn about its history and culture.
I am not Israeli. The uniform that I wore in the military, unfortunately, was not an Israeli uniform. It was an American uniform.
The Trump administration is considering a proposal from Republican mega donor Sheldon Adelson to pay for at least part of the new U.S. embassy to be constructed in Jerusalem.
It is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
When President Trump made this announcement, one man likely smiling was Republican mega donor Sheldon Adelson.
Adelson didn't just want the embassy moved, he also lobbied Trump on Iran, an avowed enemy of Israel.
You pick up your cell phone and you call somewhere in Nebraska and you say, okay, let it go. So there's an atomic weapon goes over ballistic missiles in the middle of the desert that doesn't hurt a soul. Maybe a couple of rattlesnakes and scorpions or whatever. And then you say, see, the next one is in the middle of Tehran. So we mean business. You want to be wiped out? Go ahead and take a tough position and continue with your nuclear development.
So a tremendous demonstration of American strength so that they would get the message.
The only thing they understand.
And do you see the current negotiations as a demonstration of weakness?
Absolutely. The United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal.
Just a few days after Trump delivered on that promise, Adelson committed another $30 million to the Republican Party, possibly the biggest single donation in U.S. history.
We are just getting word that Las Vegas Sands founder Sheldon Adelson has died. The visionary and mogul died last night from complications related to his treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Miriam gave my campaign, indirectly, 250 million. She was number one. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I can think of. Look at them sitting there so innocently. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen. In a moment, I will sign a presidential proclamation recognizing Israel's sovereign right over the Golan Heights.
She has poured vast sums into Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank, projects the United Nations say violate international law and displace Palestinian families.
The Jews are not helpless now. We have a state and an army, and for the last 10 weeks, we have been waging a righteous war in Gaza to ensure October 7 never recur. We will win.
But I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor.
After the 7th of October 2023, she wrote that Israel's critics abroad should be dead to us.
Now I met Alan Dershowitz, and he said the legal thing about 4 more years, and I said, Alan, I agree with you. Think about it.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be the first time I've told you, or second. Yeah.
She said, think about it. I'll give you another 250. But
I will give.
Do you think it's a conflict of interest for Miriam Adelson, an Israeli donor, to give millions of dollars to his campaign and then Trump have pro-Israeli policies?
Well, if you're asking, do I think the President of the United States has a conflict of interest? No, I do not. Because I know how the President of the United States makes his decisions and I see it behind the scenes.
Miri, you and Sheldon created a lot of relationship over the years with politicians at the state level, especially at the federal level. I want you to share with everyone why is it so important and how do you do it? Again, writing checks is part of it, but there is more than writing just checks. So how do you do it?
Can you allow me not to answer?
You choose.
I want to be truthful, and there are so many things that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want specific, but that's okay.
All right, we're back. I hope you guys got food, got whatever you need. I believe we have the phone lines open, right? You said,
Yes.
Jacob. So
Yep.
you guys feel free to call them. We don't have any calls yet, do we?
Nope.
No. Okay. So phone lines open: 1-833-72-DEAD, 1-833-722-32 or 722-3323. Sorry, I got a little thrown off there. Gonna be hanging out with some of the patrons in a second, trying to figure out who the hell wants to come up of the guys back there. Holler between you guys. I do have a video I found as we were on break. I found that Ari Ben Menashe because I wanted to figure out what his name was because I was like, what the hell is it? Ari Ben Menashe. Here is the video we were talking about earlier. Here we go. Let's play this. Leave it up. There we go.
If there's a real deal between the Americans and the Iranians, and it's going towards that, Netanyahu will try to sabotage it. One of the ways he'd sabotage it is by putting out Epstein material against U.S. government officials, including Trump. And he put it out there. New material that wasn't seen before in public.
So it's not just Trump. I know that Howard Lutnick is mentioned. There are other officials.
And not just Trump, other officials too. Yes. And he'll try to sabotage the whole negotiation and deal that would be that they're trying to make together. If there's a real deal.
Okay, so it's playing over there again. So there's what I was talking about there. That's Ari Ben Menashe, former member of Mossad. So there he is claiming that we might be getting some more Epstein news here, which I guess is a little bit of a. I mean, I guess it's in a certain way a win-win, lose-lose sort of, because I mean, if we get the Epstein files, probably means back to war. But I mean. I know. I guess you got either way. I don't know. It's
definitely going to be more expensive to live, regardless of what happens.
For sure. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, we're still seeing if they're going to open up the strait. I mean, we had just the other day Trump talking about that. Start your engines, everybody. This whole deal, acting like, the strait's opening. We still haven't heard word, as far as I'm sure. As I've heard, the strait's going to. That is open. Apparently, this is like the second time Trump said they were going to open it and then didn't. So I don't really know what to make it. Maybe we'll get that soon. But either way, I mean, hell, even if things do open right now, we're still dealing with lagging. We're going to be dealing with lagging financial issues.
We're still dealing
from
with
the
COVID
oil
shutdown.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff that we're dealing with now hasn't even trickled all the way down yet. I mean, we're still dealing with the creation of the welfare state. So, it's some of this stuff is just never ending. I just don't know when we're going to have enough of it, because something's got to give. We can't keep living like this. I can't stand when somebody speaks on my behalf. If somebody tries to put words in my mouth or whatever. So somebody doing that on behalf of us as a country, it's fine if it's actually making good deals, the best deals you've ever seen. That's fine, but they're not. They're the worst deals for us and typically really good for Israel. I don't know. Something's got to give eventually, because we can't keep going the way that we're going and then still, I imagine, have any sort of a country to speak of. So I don't know, man. I just hope people take the nonviolent route and just learn some skills, man. Learn to grow food or work on cars or something, because shit's getting tough and it's going to keep getting tougher.
Yeah, not quite sure how this all plays out. I mean, I obviously have no real hope for the political system. Although, I don't know, the longer this goes on, the more people get disillusioned. I think the more people don't want to engage. I mean, hell, I think if I'm recalling, we've seen lots of stats where, yes, with the complete and utter fumbling of the Republicans, there has been, conversely more support, generally speaking, amongst the Democrats, but not quite as much as you'd think. It's actually seemingly been more just. Looks like a lot of people just checking out. I mean, this is becoming less so now since the Republicans have gone so goddamn hard in the paint, being awful, particularly Trump. That's kind of just left a bad taste for the rest of them. That it has kind of souped up but initially when he was kind of being shitty, it really was people were it wasn't really so much that like, red's becoming blue. It's just that red's no longer interacting with the political world as red. So, which I think that's great. I think people should stop voting, stop interacting with this system, stop engaging with it.
100%.
I know everybody wants to feel like they've done something. And so, and this gets portrayed as like you're doing nothing. But ironically, that's the whole trick of this game. I do feel like the doing something is what like kind of makes the whole thing go around.
If people want to do something, I can tell everyone exactly what to do, and you'll get a lot more done than whatever gets done by voting. Just go to your city council meetings or your county commission meetings and just see what they talk about. Literally just go watch and then hop on Twitter after or Facebook and report what they were talking about. Literally, that's it. If anybody does that, you're going to be so much better off, because all of the corruption in this country happens at the city council and county commission meetings. That's where it takes. Like, granted, we have the Fed and whatever. That's so corrupt. It's corrupt from the very get-go. But the real corruption in this country literally just happens in plain sight. The biggest reason they can get away with it is because nobody goes. So that's like the best. Anything politically, just tattle on these people. Like, fuck them, honestly. And we just need enough people to show up. Just kind of like the response about the data center here in Utah. People were pissed. And that was honestly one of my favorite moments, at least politically speaking, for here in Utah, because to me it showed that, first of all, with enough people, you actually can change the course of things. Now, it's not permanent. It doesn't mean that you have to give up. It's like, oh, we won, we can go home now. No. It's a constant battle. It's literally day in and day out, because politics doesn't stop. So, but it was great to be able to see the average person upset about something to the point they had to rent out the fairgrounds in order to bring enough people, or to be able to fit all the people. And then the county commissioners were so upset that people kept yelling at them that they got put into a separate room and protected by the police. Like, I don't know, dude. It was beautiful in a sense of like how, like, this is government, and this is just the best example I've ever seen. But there are things that people can do, which is why I don't buy the whole black pill thing. That's ridiculous. They want you to think that, though. They want you to think that things are hopeless. And I'm just not willing to do that. Also, if you really do think things are hopeless, then why do you even give a shit to begin with, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess my perspective is like, yeah, that is. I feel like people get so caught up in the idea of like, well, I need to engage some way electorally in some, right. And I really feel like it's just like, well, focus on your life, focus on your shit, improve yourself. Like, obviously, everyone knows I'm not. You're obviously advocating here like more local. I would advocate that more so. I mean, I don't advocate that at all. But if I were to guess which one is going to be more beneficial, more likely to produce fruit of any shape or form, it would be local. Right. Because in my opinion, it's kind of like the more local, the better. Down to the individual. Right. So, and I think there's pros and cons to interacting.
I don't want people to get involved. I just want these people to be tattled on, because these people do need to be concerned. When you're trying to fuck over your community. Also, it does kind of give you a heads up about what's coming and where the new flock cameras are going to be. So, although I have been seeing a lot of good turnaround with the flock stuff, lots of people getting contracts canceled. So that's great, honestly. The battle is not over there, though.
Want to expand on that a little bit? I haven't really been following the flock stuff as much. I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with it. Isn't that like the doorbell sort of stuff? And isn't that one where they're like coordinating with each other to? Am I mixing up things here? And even then, I hadn't heard about like
mixing up a couple of things. So the flock cameras are the ones that sit on the side of the road typically, and they have a little solar panel, and then right beneath them is like this super advanced camera that not only they always tell people initially it's like a license plate camera, which it is, but it's also like everything else as well. It can basically, like probably give you an accurate reading on a male sperm count because of how advanced the technology is in these things. I mean, they'll ping your cell phone as you're driving by, which they continually follow. Flock is basically like a subcontractor of Palantir, basically.
Okay.
They might as well just be Palantir. But it is the control grid. Okay. So like everyone keeps talking about like the New World Order, blah, 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 blah. Yes, this is it, because these cameras are everywhere, literally everywhere. And they almost went up overnight. Like they just started popping up out of nowhere. Nobody knew what it was. And now this is something that I do follow very regularly. Privacy issues are a massive issue to me. So there are groups all over the country who have been organizing in order to remove Flock out of their communities. And most people have been successful in doing this. There was one community in Texas that failed because the FBI showed up and said, nope, we need these cameras. So city council renewed it. But other than that, and they got it done in Denver too. They made sure that Flock wasn't going to have their contract renewed, but the city just went with another company. So it's not like they really won anything. But, with all the low oxygen up there, I don't expect them to be too smart. So, but yeah, I mean, this is the control system. This is not abstract anymore. This is real. It's here. And most people just don't know what they are, or they get told that it's part of, the lie that everyone gets told. This is how cities get pitched, is that it's going to be for criminals. So we're not monitoring regular people all day, every day, even though there has already shown signs of massive abuse in this system. Talking like police officers being able to access these systems to stalk ex-lovers, some really scary stuff that, according to Flock, is not supposed to be able to happen because they've already thought about this and built some like fail safes in, but it's still happening. Because I just don't think they care. Like, who's going to tell them no?
Yeah, I mean, to bring this back to what we were talking about, or one of the things we were talking about, the jump. I mean, hell, the whole the working for the J story. I mean, the 24-year-old CEO that was offended because someone would dare not want to work for a Jew. His company was an ID, like they verified ID for renters. So there was literally ID, and then one of the people who made this story go even further, Joe Lonsdale, the co-founder of Palantir. God, where was I going? God, what is with my brain today? He's Palantir. So Palantir, there you go. That's what I was getting at. Palantir, a data company. So even furthermore, like these are the people they're like, trust me with your data, and then will immediately weaponize their identity and your identity to their benefit. Yet they want you to give them their data. Just saying. Just seems like a commonality we're seeing. They're not even really trying to hide it anymore. They're kind of just doing it open, and they're throwing woke words at you to make it seem okay. Meanwhile, it's like, bitch, you run a business that's supposed to protect identity, yet you're out here attacking people for their identity for daring to come after your identity, or vice versa, or whatever. But like, it's openly like. So that's why, like, I saw a lot of people were like review bombing the guy's business. I mean, that was one I was a little bit like, I don't know, kind of almost seems like you're following into the same tactics. But given what his business is and what he is doing, I think it's super fucking fair. So if you guys want to go give Gabe Einhorn's business, bomb it. This isn't even a fake review thing. This is a legit review. He has displayed how he shouldn't have this business. He is someone whose his whole deal is he wants you to pay him money to hold on to your ID and verify your ID, and then to give it to other people. So
this sounds
and yeah,
like
he's
the
a
precursor to like digital ID.
yeah. Well, I think it's for like renters. I mean, I don't know. It's not that all that common.
Well, yeah, but I mean, all of these things start small so they can work
Yeah.
out the bugs in the much larger system. So the fact that that can even be an industry, like, says to me on a technological point of view, that's going somewhere. Like, that's going to help develop this system. Yeah, honestly, fuck that dude, because it's just ridiculous. I don't know, man. There's some weird stuff going on with the security industry, I guess. Like, now there was that news story. I don't know if you guys covered it, but now anyone who puts up any sort of complaint or criticisms of Flock or like AI data centers or whatever, you're now a tech extremist or something. The DOJ came out and said that, and it's like, you've got to be kidding me. That's incredibly vague, the way that you guys put that in the law, and that's really scary. Now that, you know, I can just make a post on Instagram, which I have many a times, and criticize the technology which is clearly out of control, and that makes me a domestic terrorist somehow. You know, I mean, granted, they're a bunch of satanic pedophiles, so I don't really care what they call me. I care, you know, if it leads to a warrant being put out for my arrest and I get swooped up and put into a camp. It's really weird. But this is the thing. It's happening. It's here. This is the wake-up call, you know?
Mm-hmm. With that, let's get John Black in here. He said he wanted to join us, shoot the bull with us. John, you're on here. I don't know if you're ready, if you're standing by your mic. If not, you can kind of join us whenever you are. But what's up, John? You there? Did we catch you on the pooper? What's up, bud?
No. I take my dumps in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, hell yeah.
So Arizona's the one who's had the most traction about getting the flock cameras contracts canceled. So basically what they did is they FOIA'd all 62 counties in Arizona. So they retained counsel, FOIA'd every 62 counties in Arizona. And then when the flock camera contracts are up, then they're, you know, fire hosing the city council meetings with getting these contracts canceled. So we're looking at doing something similar here in Tennessee. Of course, we have 95 counties, and you know, it's a little bit bigger. The only problem is here in Tennessee is that we also have Motorola going up as well. So it's not only Flock, it's Motorola is coming in as well. We actually have a guy here in Tennessee that for some reason, well, his daughter got in a wreck and the cause of her death was guardrails. So he's went super autistic on guardrails and like guardrail safety, and has gotten Flock to change the way that they do their polls. But now he's having problems with Motorola. So even if we get,
are they easier to cut down now?
No, they're just not set back behind, so they impede the guardrail. And you know, like most posts will break away if you hit them. You know, these are like set in concrete, and you know, if you hit one, they're not gonna soften the blow like a guardrail will. They'll damage your car. So it defeats the purpose of having you know, a guardrail when you have a metal pole that's dug down deep into the ground, you know, padded in concrete. So we're in the process of doing that, FOIAing all. Obviously, I can't do it under my name because of who I am, but FOIA in all 95 counties to get their contracts, to look at them and scrutinize them, see exactly, like in my county, they were paid not by taxpayer. They were paid by taxpayers, but indirectly by taxpayers through a state-funded grant. So it's not like you can go up there and use the taxpayer argument unless you're using the federal taxpayer argument. But so Arizona got all 62 counties. They've organized to the point where, when a county has their flock contract to be renewed, they go say, we don't want this in our county, and then they get them kicked out. But these are just temporary measures. It's not like, just like Jacob said, it's not like you can just say, hey, we won this one. You still have to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, no, it's basically buying us time to become better, more well organized. And, it's just that. It's giving us time to be able to deal with what's coming next. Because like I said, this is the new world order, right? Like this is the system.
And kind of like what Jacob was alluding to is they sell these things as they are deterrents for crime, and they primarily lean on one study that is inherently flawed, really flawed, almost as bad as your lost kid in the mall study, where they talk about crime reduction and things like that. But it's kind of crazy that all these things started going up right after a prominent celebrity from the morning show's mother went missing or something. So now we need cameras everywhere because
that bitch ever come back?
Who fucking knows? But we got cameras everywhere. I don't even know what that bitch's name is, but cameras went up everywhere.
I didn't listen to any of that story. It just seemed like a distraction.
Well, I don't know. I connected it to the cameras in my mind because
it totally is connected to the cameras.
Well, because I remember that being one of the first things that came up when that happened, because they then were like being like, well, we could use this if this were a thing or whatever, from what I recall. Sorry, go ahead, John.
But the problem with it is that according to like the flock camera contracts, they say that they keep the data for 30 days and then you can pay a premium to keep it 60 days, but there's no mechanism as to which you can get the local sheriffs or municipalities to share with you whether or not they are archiving this data and keeping it.
There's nothing stopping anybody from doing it, including Flock themselves. Yeah. Because technically the way it's set up is the people who are holding on to the Flock data is actually not a Flock company, but obviously it's still owned by the same guy, but they've set it up in a really tricky way where the people holding the actual data is not associated with the camera people. And I assume that's because they know what they're doing and they know that it's going to get really bad at some point. So they're trying to create levels in between the people who are going to get angry and themselves. Considering the owner of Flock said that the people at DFlock, a project meant to point out where these cameras are and map it. Great map, by the way. Highly recommend it. The owner of Flock called them terrorists.
Yeah.
So
it's dflock.org if anybody was looking for the website. And
great stuff.
The other thing that is really weird about these cameras is they're very easy to hack, to the point where there are a couple of people that have hacked the cameras in their area and that live stream them 24 hours a day, like they do traffic cameras. So,
I think that's all part of the design.
Yeah, it's not a bug, it's a feature. And then, to Jacob's other point is they're being abused like crazy. So now, you used to could call your buddy at any LEO or law enforcement officer and say, hey, can you run a plate for me? And they would have no problem doing it. But now they're limited on it, you know, so they have to
but it's
have
a hell of a lot
a
easier.
reason. But
it's a hell of a lot easier for them to run it now, though, is the crazy thing.
Yeah, but now with Flock, it's not necessarily like running a plate.
Right.
Used to be, it's ridiculously easier, and you've got like story after story of guys that are, you know, in these things 1,600 times, you know, looking at their wives or their ex-girlfriends or whatever. I mean, I'm sure
there was one story, a local politician was literally just tracking some people in the community.
Yeah.
And that's just so scary.
My wife had a chick at her work. I think it was like one of the doctors, because she works in the veterinary field. And the chick had like a boyfriend or husband or something who was like a crazy cheater. And for some reason, like, I don't know, it's for some reason with vets in the vet field, like they're typically women, and it's like a very common thing that they have this like this thing where they have like kept men essentially. And a lot, let's be real, like I never met the guy, but I just assume he's probably like a looker. I think he was like some sort of like South American. I think he played like semi-pro ball. So he was probably like probably a bit of a hunk, and like she was a little bit older, not that she was like ugly, the lady, but from my recollection. So anyways, point being is it's like that sort of dynamic relationship. He cheats like crazy. He's kind of hot or something, probably. For some reason, she puts up with it. But he was a cop for a period of time. And like one of the things he was doing is he was running plates and then following women, and it just kind of, oh wow, how convenient is that I just happened to meet you over, you know, at the place. Like he would like kind of casually run into them, like utilizing his like, you know, and I think he ended up getting fired actually after a while that he did it enough, but you know, was doing using all sorts of different cop tricks to essentially be a creep and get some poon. So I mean, this stuff will get weaponized.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting, Flock says that they have actually built in fail safes for this. In fact, they've even shown the existence of the code. I'm not sure exactly how you would verify that unless it was open source or you could access it somehow. That's above my pay grade. But the fact that they've already thought about this, there is something in place, and it's still not working.
Yeah, I mean, and there are people that go out and audit these cameras and that use very sophisticated gear to just stand there and watch the camera activate the infrared, whatever activates on the camera when a car walks by. They'll walk by, they'll change their settings, you know, so they do hardware checks on them as well. So there's, you know, plenty of engineering schematics on these cameras, and they have evolved so much since the initial introduction of them, where they were being sold as automatic license plate readers. But now they take pictures of the car, the person in the car, the make, the model, the license plate.
Dude, they'll connect your phone to your car
and your phone.
Yeah, like it's crazy what they'll do. And I mean, if anyone has any, you know, nanotech floating through their blood system, I guarantee you they have a copy of that. Some of them have actually been exposed for having weapons on them, like directed energy weapons. So, and you'll see them too, because they have much larger electrical systems, and they're typically next to a like much larger street pole. It's getting wild, dude.
Well, we're floating into schizo bro territory, and I cannot confirm or deny that. But I mean, it would not surprise me in the least. So easy to combat this, especially for a family like mine, where we have 5 cars, you know, everybody just drives a different car, so they can't like map out your patterns and you know, things like that.
Use things like deflock. There's also don't flock me or whatever.
There's an app Bobo sent me that I need to download.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of great stuff. In my opinion, this is the fight that we probably should all be taking up, because if we don't, I mean, it will be China level police state.
Yeah.
Now, they want.
Real quick, let me get. I did want to. Somebody in the one of the patrons was asking who created, or who made this, or who owns this, and I don't know if it was mentioned. I feel like maybe somebody casually, like, is this Peter Thiel, or is this Oracle, or is this one of the? Well, funny enough, we use different names here, but I looked it up real quick. Apparently, Flock Safety. It was founded in 2017 by Garrett Langley, Matt Fury, and Paige Todd. The company is privately owned, but it's backed by venture capital investors, including Andreessen Horowitz, Tiger Global, Founders Fund. Founders Fund, for the people who don't know what that is Peter Thiel's firm. And that's also renowned for being the rumor. There were these regular founder funds, like I think barbecues or whatever, where like, highfalutin, people come and meet, and politicians come, kind of looking for donors. The rumor is it was one of those where J.D. Vance got his back blown out by Peter Thiel, Matrix, Meritech, and others. So yes, basically this is essentially a Peter Thiel, Andreessen Horowitz, a company of sorts. So, but yeah, these are the venture capitals, but technically it's owned by. But yeah, anyways, those are the big players behind it. So once again, everything comes back to Peter Thiel.
So basically, what you did is you just verified Jacob's point that this is a precursor to something else, seeing as these guys aren't directly involved in it to where they own it. So this is just kind of a trial run to see if citizens will see it and then just let it go, and it's implied consent. So if people don't stand up and say, hey, we don't consent to this, then they have implied consent, and then implied consent then will turn into absolute consent. So this is why it's just a trial run. So this is why people need to be cognizant of it, and then have a plan to fight back against it.
Right.
And I'm not saying what Arizona's blueprint that they're doing is the end all be all of it, but it seems to be the most.
It's a good place to start.
It seems to be the most effective way to doing it now. And back to Jacob's point about county commission meetings, is those seats are so vulnerable because the races are they're not expensive. They're not expensive to run a county commission seat.
Not really.
So flipping a county commission is relatively inexpensive if you have the right amount of people and the right amount of volunteers and the right information, and know exactly which pressure points to push.
See, I would rather just be a thorn in their side instead of run for office. Although I have
run for office.
I have thought about running for office again as a way to market my podcast. So.
I've actually said, while I'm the Agorist, that has been my. That's one of the things I've said. That one of the only good things that politics, only things politics is good for, is griftings. So I've said like that's the only thing it's used for. If you want to build your podcast, I know it's a little bit of a weird, because it's like, how do you do this without being a scumbag? And like, I guess if you ran it for the LP, you could just be honest, like, this is just to promote my podcast, and who's going to say anything otherwise?
Right. And
it's a hell of a lot easier to gather signatures and get everyone's email address too. Yeah. So.
And if you, I don't know what the laws are, the election laws are in Utah, but in a lot of states you can sign an affidavit. Like, so if your brand, Jacob, is Rise to Liberty, you could run as Rise to Liberty, because that's what people know you as. You know, you know what I'm saying? Right. So, like, I mean, we have a candidate that they were trying to get kicked off the ballot in Iowa because he was using not his real name, but the name that he's known by. That he's run under four other times. He's run under this pseudonym, and all you have to do is sign an affidavit at the election commission, and and then you can run as Jose Galison.
You can dox yourself, or no, you gotta do what every other politician does and dox yourself like Toad did. All right,
right.
But with that, guys, I do need to get out of here a little bit early today. Although we will be going to the post hangout, the post show hangout. So for the patrons, stick around. But we're gonna go ahead and dart. Appreciate you, John, for helping round out the group here at the end. By the way, I do think, the next week, I think there's a strong chance we won't have Austin next week. So just letting you guys know, you're stuck with me and Jacob. Sorry, we love Austin too. But he will be back. Daddy will come back soon. But with that, definitely call in next time, hang out, patrons come up, be ready for questions, whatever. We have plenty of time.
Yeah. This is your chance to actually to say something.
But with that, John, we're going to kick you out, get you out of the cuck chair. Love you, brother.
Thanks, brother.
All right, Jacob, where can people find you at? We're going to get out of here.
Yeah, so apparently I'm all over the place these days. Me and JJ are getting ready to launch a show here in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be every Friday, and it's going to be like a late night show. So it's going to be, the antithesis to this, basically. We get it going at the beginning of the week. We're going to finish it out at the end of the week over there. Just, fun, parapolitical late night show. So that's going to be cool. Plus, I started a once a month show with Goel of Investigations in Ritual Abuse. Just talking about all sorts of stuff. But like I said, that's only once a month. Other than that, you can find me at allmylinks.com/rise to liberty. Pulls up everywhere that you can find me, mainly Telegram, X, Instagram, and Substack at Beware the Mockingbird. So that's about the best places.
Hell yeah, the Schizo Bro Coalition grows. Grows by the daily. Help us grow the Schizo Bro Coalition by liking, sharing, subscribing. You can find the show on YouTube, Rumble, all the major audio podcatchers, and Twitter as well. On Twitter, that's at Tower Gang Jose. Everywhere else, it's the No Way Jose podcast. Now, if you want to support the show in the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That gives you access to a whole host of perks. Give you guys access to early episodes. I do about 1 to 2 of those per week. Try to keep about 3 to 4 of them behind the paywall at any given time. Give you guys access to ad-free RSS feed. Give you guys access to Telegram, the pre-show, the post-show, and video calls for this show right here. Already Dead, which goes out on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I also give a big shout-out to my patrons, the highest level of my Patreon. The sponsors is a big thank you for their support. My previous host on Tower Gang, at Leonard Toad, also at Brigade D's, at ZOVRCK, at _Infant Seal, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Tacos, One Haircut for Kids, No Free Lunch, Jack, Mark Vestibule, and Jacob Wintergrad of the Biblical Anarchy Podcast. Oh, and John Black, the beautiful bastard you just saw, who unfortunately did not let us see his beautiful face. He does have quite the amazing mane of hair and quite the face to match. He is a cutie pie. No homo. With that, guys, we will see you on the next one. Show up next week. Be ready to hang out, call in a show, do all the things. And if that doesn't work for you, we got a morning show. Sounds like Jacob's got a nighttime show coming up. We're going to have all the bases covered. So hell yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Love you.